Today you find us about 30 minutes northeast of Taihape on the road to Napier, and we're joined in her woolshed by Mairi Whittle. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
When did you start getting interested in farming?
I mean, I love the farm and everything about it growing up, so I grew up here. This is the family farm. Went down to Lincoln. The trendy thing to do from there was go rural banking, but I really did miss the outdoors, so I did an OE. Worked on a hunting estate in Scotland and then as a Gillaroo in Australia, and come back farming about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And was probably the oldest shepherd on the road. Had to start from scratch at about 27 and get some dogs together and get some experience, and then got here 18 months ago. So
when we talk health and safety, what are some of the things that are really important to you?
I think for me it's going away from just like, right, great, they've got all their paperwork done. It's like ticking all the boxes. It's actually like showing the initiatives and actually by doing and leading by example out on the farm. You spend a lot of your young years, especially when you're shepherding, you've got so much to do, and it's almost like a macho, I guess, thing, like you've got to get it done in a hurry. Everything's in a hurry, you can't be too, you've got to go up that track because the other fella did. Actually just take the time, make sure you really think about what you are doing and maybe the consequences if things don't go so well. I think referring to it as health and safety all the time is probably the burden of it, but just being a really good leader in terms of doing all the right things basically, and talking about what you're about to do and just getting you thinking so that you're always doing the right thing.
You mentioned a lot of contractors coming on farm. You've got your father doing a bit of tractor work, you've got spraying contractors, and you're hill country here in the central North Island. Tell us about identifying the hazards for them.
A lot of the farm is quite rolling and the rest is quite steep, so it's about being very careful, and I think what gets me is how the weather can affect those tracks. Like one day a track could be fine, but the next day not so much. So it's about really checking those out beforehand. So now we normally meet here at the woolshed, and then we'll go to the paddock and have a look at any hazards on the way, or have a look at what the track's like. To be fair, they often know the paddocks as well as I do, so they say, oh, there's a wet spot there we don't normally get. And I normally ask them, what did you do last time? And then send them away. And they're all people I've got good relationships with, which I also think is quite important. And get the helicopter in to do quite a bit of work, from spraying crops to putting food on crops, thistle spraying. And I will do a map up of basically outlining the job that needs done and draw in the wires with a red pen. And then normally we'll go for a fly and just identify those again that are going to be where he's flying.
We mentioned earlier about vehicles on farm. I noticed on your bike out there you've got a bit of crush protection. Tell us your thoughts in around that. We've
always had crush protection on our bike, so I think we traded the old one in and I just put that one straight on. It's something that we've always had, and it's good, definitely a good protection to have on there. Like if anything happened and I was stuck under the bike, say, like there's just no way I would be able to even move anything like that off myself. So it makes a lot of sense to have some sort of crush protection on there to enable a chance to get out and get home, really.
For you personally, if there was, like I say, an incident on farm, and you're off work for a week or even longer, what, as a person just coming into farming, taking everything on yourself, what would that mean to you, do you believe?
Yeah, I try not to think about it too much because it just wouldn't work basically. Like I can't really fathom it. I mean, what I'm doing now is everything I've dreamed of doing, and I'm quite like stoked with the position I'm in. But anything happens to me, it not only affects the business, myself, but even my parents have to step back in. I've just given them their retirement, so it just affects everyone really. And even if I was off work and stuck inside for the day, like I can hardly even do half a day inside these days. Like this is my sanity, being able to be out, and I thrive on doing physical work. So especially I think I'm 30 now, like it's the time where I should be working as hard as I can. So I need to make sure that I'm capable of doing everything on the farm really.